Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am glad you are here. This is a new reaction channel by So Pretty Toni. This is Toni's Reaction Room. So, as you come in, please, please, we are going to dig deep into the Nolan Wells case. And I've been following it, and I felt the need that, hey, it is time that I come out of the shadows and come out and be able to speak on such a case. Let's get my face on the screen. But again, come on in to Toni's Reaction Room. Hit the like button when you come in. Also, at the end, if you like all the commentary and everything that you've heard, please, please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. It is a new channel, so please come on in the room, hit the like button, and let's have a conversation. Let's get my face on the screen here. Also, one of the things I like to do, I have another channel. It is Court Vision with So Pretty Toni. As you come in, please make sure that you hit the like button. But with that being said, let's get a little bit of music going on here. Let's put a sound on in the background slightly. There we go. I think I have that up and ready to go. Let's see if I can get the sound through my headphones. Make sure when you come in, join the channel. I know people see this and they go, oh, wow, what's next? What's next is we are going to react to Nolan Wells, to the Nolan Wells case. And so let's bring that down just a little bit so you guys can hear me nice and clear, okay? If you can't hear me, please go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. I like to have engagement, so please make sure when you come into the room, you also leave some commentary. So, I mean, if it's up for discussion, let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion. Let's go ahead and get my face on the screen here. Again, welcome over to my new channel. This is Toni's Reaction Room, and we are going to react once again to the Nolan Wells case. And we're going to talk about that there's this letter that has come about that someone may or may not have posted. This is allegedly. So we're not going to say that there is absolutely 100% truth to this letter. What I'm going to do is pull these down here and try and get these back in so they can Can you hear me? John, my mic. Okay, the sound is yes. Um, okay, I'll just leave it where it is. So I am on. You guys can hear me very clear, so that's perfectly fine. Um, Again, apparently there is a letter that is out there that has been found. Willie D, I have been following Willie D throughout this case, and it's heartbreaking to see what's going on and to kind of hear what's going on with this case. So yes, I am here to kind of react to some of what's going on. And let me just go over what I'm literally, I found this case, Nolan's Xavier Wells case, and it concerns this 18-year-old Mississippi college football player, who actually was going to be returning after 4th of July to get with his new team and start football training camp, from my understanding, who disappeared during the 4th of July trip on Horn Island and was found dead 2 days later. Guys, 2 days later. Two. I think it's tough. His family disputes the early suggestions that he simply stayed behind to be with some young lady that he found or that he already knew or that he supposedly went there allegedly to see, and he accidentally drowned. An independent autopsy lists both the cause of listed both the cause and manner of Nolan Wells' death as undetermined. And the investigation is still active. It remains active right now today. There has been major development since then from the initial account right away that he accidentally drowned. He stayed back with some girl versus his friend that he went out there to Horn the Island with. And it's going to be a crazy situation moving forward because you have so much, just following this, there's so much going on with this case that I just absolutely cannot describe in regards to it without going into it in layers, because you can't give this in one segment. You have to give this pretty much in layers. It is a lot. It is a lot. The family is represented right now by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. The Congressional Black Caucus has called for federal involvement as well in this case, and the family has sought social media, GPS, and other digital recording. And any questions that anybody, all their questions that they have for everyone that they deem was involved, and the main question is, what happened to my son? Is all the parents want to know. The Wells family want to know what happened to their son, because they don't believe that there was an accidental drowning when it comes to this. Questions remain. They're going to continue to remain. Their questions are going to continue to ask. And for individuals to go after this family because they're simply asking questions about what happened to their child, and the simple response was not good enough. I don't think for any family that would be good enough. It just depends on how hard you want to fight for your child or that your loved one in regards to this. Nolan Wells' phone and what happened during his final hours. That is what is next to come. The phone and getting the tracking of all the social media. And the only way that you can pull social media that has been since deleted on the account is by going through the legal route. In order to do this, this would have to come from, of course, a judge. Today, August 17th, there's another significant development that NAACP has announced that its office of General Counsel has joined the family and the family's legal team, increasing pressure for the thorough and transparency of this investigation. If you're looking at this right here on my show, on Toni's Reaction Room, this is a strong case for a full individual episodes that we'll kind of engage in trying to get, and we're going to follow this all the way until the end. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle beginning of the stage of this case. It's been going on since July. Since July 4th. We are now, well, 2 days later, in which these parents have found their child dead. So we're well a month within this entire case and investigation. And so I'm going to bring this to you as much as I can. And I need to go back, and I'm going to continue to do all this research, because I just, it's not enough to idly sit by and constantly listen to what's going on and not have a word to say in regards to what is absolutely happening. And so I'm also going to kind of turn my music down a little bit, because I want you guys to hear me thoroughly. And just bring it up like a real faint sound, because I want you guys to hear me thoroughly. Let's continue on, right? And so on this show, we're going to talk about these developing moments, and we're going to kind of give it to you in a certain episode segments while we continue to follow this case through and through, because we have separate confirmed facts. And so we're going to bring those facts across the table. And look here, y'all. And look, if not me, then who? I think it's important that we start putting this out there. It's too many situations that has happened in Mississippi that have all been called the same ratio of death, unalive. Let's use the word unalive, right? Because you've had a couple other individuals that have been found hanging from trees, and it's been called and ruled as they did it themselves. Homicide. They hung themselves, apparently. I don't know what African American person, or any person for that matter, would just decide that they're going to get in a tree, they're going to put something up underneath their feet, tall enough to get them up there, mind you, and just kick the chair or whatever they're standing on from underneath them, or climb the tree for that matter, which has a real hard way of barking if you're not a true tree climber, to climb up there, tie a noose around your neck, and just fall, and just and just hang yourself. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that something like that is an actual thing, and they didn't have any assistance in putting that noose around their necks and or hanging themselves. It is very, very odd to me that this has happened. Has it only been in Mississippi? No. But the most cases so far have all been in Mississippi. So let's get back into it. Joining back into here, the counsel that is coming in NAACP, seeking and giving more counsel to this team to make sure that this federal investigation developments work, and it puts itself in enforcement evidence, making sure that all the GPS evidence, the law enforcement positions and possessions that they have, and the new NAACP federal investigation developments without precedents. You have to make sure that you make this very, very clear. And it just doesn't seem like to me that this has been a clear path to getting the proper answers throughout this entire process. It is one thing after another, after another, after another. So looking at this is indeed a strong case. And making this case and waiting for this to go to trial, you also have the parties that were with Nolan Wells that he chose to go with on this boat ride to Hornbeak Island have all come out and have built a bunch of conversation and had a bunch of opportunities to come out and tell their story. Well, guess what? Nolan Wells can't tell his story. He can't tell his story, y'all, because he's not here. He's not here to defend what is being said, right? So you can't say it's their word against his because he's not here to defend himself. So it's a one-sided so-called truth on different scenarios that have taken place in this case that now here we are and we're still trying to figure out what actually happened. And I think when you go through the phone, the GPS evidence and also the different law enforcement things that they found to see where there's holes and gaps if there are any, right? I'm not saying that they are, because I am just reacting to this because I just feel like there needs to be more conversation in regards to this so we can get to the bottom of what actually happened to this young man. Federal investigation developments without presenting speculations as a true fact, which it is not. Speculations are speculations, but we want to get to the actual fact of what took place and what happened with Nolan Wells. I can put together a full Nolan Wells case in some sense and try to figure out where we are with this. Now, again, I am coming in. This is a new reaction channel. When you come into the channel, please make sure you hit the like button. If this isn't a channel for you, I completely understand, and we can just kind of move on from there. But let's just take account what happened to Nolan. Let's go one more time. What happened to Nolan? Nolan Wells is, of course, that 18-year-old young man from Mississippi who went to Hornbeak Island on the 4th of July to enjoy himself with some friends on a boat, and he did not come back home when everyone else did. That's the whole account of what taking place. And we want to, the other big thing is the phone. The phone. The phone could potentially answer some very important key questions. Very important key questions. Let's get to the comments. Let's see who's in the comments. What's going on, ADP? How are you? Hey, Toni. At work waiting for my earbuds to charge up. Yes, I know my earbuds are not connected right now. I don't know why. They should be, but you guys can hear me soundly, and so that's the only thing that matters. And I may just take them out of my ear so I can kind of hear. It's easy because I like the silence around, and so I'm able to hear a little bit better. But Nolan Wells' phone, when the parents retrieved the phone had been wiped clean of all social media and all major pictures leading up to that event. Parents have lost some key moments of their child in this, and so I don't know. Let's see. Who was Nolan communicating to is a question. The questions are all over the place. So let's go with some of these questions. Like, who was Nolan Wells communicating with? Who did he call? Or did he call anybody? Who called him? Right? Did he call anybody? Did someone call him? Where are the messages that supposedly have happened in between their time there on that island? But to wipe it completely clean would mean someone tampered with his phone. Or are the friends stating that he wiped his own phone? I seriously doubt that. Where's the photography or the videos within the phone? Because his parents say that this is something that he is constantly, his phone is always in his hand, and he's constantly doing. He loves to capture his life and the things that go on with him on a consistent basis. Very loving and caring individual. Of course, we do have to understand that parents will go hard and fight hard for their kids. And as they go hard and fight for their kids, you're going to hear them say, each of them say what a great fight it was, and their child is on point. But we have gotten to witness in real time throughout the things that the parents have talked about and the friends have come forth and talked about when it comes to Nolan's character, that everything that has been said about him and his kind gestures and the things that he do and the type of person he is, all align together. So nothing's different with that. There's nothing going wrong with that other than the fact that this young man did not come home alive, right? So, and what location of the information can be recovered out of this phone? So the phone is a big piece, a big piece, and a big key to possibly maybe finding out what actually he had in that phone. Did he have something in that phone that was warranted to be wiped clean? And what activities occurred on that device of Nolan Wells before Nolan disappeared is what we want to know. But here's a development that has people asking even more questions. Recent reports are saying that Nolan's cell phone still had not undergone the joint forensic examination that the family and the authorities have been discussing. See, now, from following this so far, there was a time and a date set for Nolan's parents to turn in the phone. Well, as of, I believe it was yesterday, some situation, and I'll get to those, where the development came now that they're so upset with his parents for continuously asking and going the route that they're going and bringing all of these people into the investigation that they attempt to send the parents a letter requesting a phone sooner than what they initially asked for, when they initially asked for it. So when you do that, now you have just kind of pushed away from the whole bringing in during this time. Now, to me, that seems a little suspicious. A little suspicious. I don't know. We shall see. But they apparently sent the parents a letter to their home telling them that they need to turn the phone in within a certain amount of time, and it was sooner than what they originally planned. And so you send a letter to parents that's not even there. We also have an account that is stated that the parents aren't in Mississippi because of the threats that they've been getting and the harassment that's been happening. And then them just kind of basically just fearing for their family's safety in that whole, because remember, Nolan Wells has siblings. His parents had to make sure that the siblings were also okay. This dispute also reportedly is centered on the logistics of how the examination would take place and whether the phone itself will be turned over to law enforcement after all anyway, which I would want to, but I don't know if I would want to turn it into the Mississippi authorities. If everything else is kind of seeming a little bit shady, I don't know. I'm on the outside looking in. If it seems a little bit shady, then I don't know if the parents, if that is something that the parents is willing to do. Of course, they do need to have it examined so they can retrieve what apparently was on the phone prior to, right? And I know that they want those answers. That's the only way they're going to get those answers. But I think it's just they're skeptical about who they're giving it to. So, So my question is, that's my question, y'all. Why has something potentially, why has something potentially this important has taken so long to try and get to the bottom line as to what happened to this young man? Why is it taking so long? There's steps and measures as to why it's taking it so long, because you have so many people involved of higher level caliber that you have to be, I don't want to say careful, but they are buying time to continuously figure out how they can continuously, I don't want to say cover it up, but have some clue as to sticking with their guns on the first account that that it was an accidental drowning. Is that hard to believe? No, it just depends on what took place. And we don't know. And so that's why we're trying to find out. Drone footage show more. And you can't tell me that you didn't see or can't see what took place prior to. That's why you got satellite. That's why you have drones. That's why you have all of this technology these days that you can find whatever you want to find out in any way, form, shape, form, or fashion. It doesn't automatically prove wrongdoing on anybody's part, but that's why you need what accounts was in that phone. I think that if the parents was given the phone in the condition in which it was supposed to be in, with nothing deleted, the phone not tampered with, I think that, I don't know if we would be in this place. I think that the parents would be able to look and see, but also once they resume that body, how it was also stated that he was picked up and his body was upside down as they carried him from shore of where he apparently washed up at. Why is it that this young man did not float ashore prior to? It took 2 days later. It's because it seems like his body wasn't there. It seems like after the initial account of constantly checking and trying to find where he was, his body comes up 2 days later. But it absolutely gives us something to legitimately be concerned about, and to also to be discussed about as well, considering what is happening. And because when you're trying to reconstruct something, the final hours get to be very pivotal. The digital evidence can matter, and that is why we need to figure out what in the world was in that phone. What was in that phone? Now, also, we get into it and we see that the letter that surfaced. There's a letter that has surfaced, guys. There's a letter that has surfaced. Now let's clear something up, because I've seen the word mysterious letter used when people discuss this case. Willie D says it best. So we're going to get with Willie D here in a second. I'm going to go over his and react to his video. There's preservations of letters and connected to different things that people want to say that's connected to Nolan Wells' family, anticipated the civil litigation. So you got to be careful when you're saying those things. And these are things that allegedly, I don't know these things. I am reacting to these things because this is what is being said. So in the matter of this case, I want to know. Let's listen to Willie D here real quick. That's there we go. Oh, that's not where I want it. What are we doing here? There we go. I'm sorry, I had to get the right. I had to get the right view. Let's get the right view. But let's listen. Listen to Willie D's take on here, because he said that this letter, some of it that you can read, and some of it seems to be a little bit distorted. But let's see. Let's absolutely see um, what he has to say about it.
What's up, family? Well, what do we have here? A mysterious letter pops up on the internet, providing a motive in the Nolan Wells case. Yeah, fam, let's get right into it. Now, at times it's going to be hard for me to.
Here we go with these infomercials. Now, commercials coming up. Let's see. Okay.
Articulate exactly what is happening here, what's being said, because the letter, the writing is not great, but it's good enough to get an idea of what this person is trying to say. At the top, it says left Evans left Evans' house.
Let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. It's kind of circling a little bit. Now, mind you, it just played clearly a minute ago, but let's see. Let's get it. Let's see why is this going.
At 10:30 a.m. on boat to Island. That's July 4th. This letter is dated. Okay, so we say, we got to the party island. We had alcohol. I may have drank a half, if not a whole seltzer throughout that entire time. Was worried about returning for his second swim. He didn't want to ruin his chances. Talking about Nolan. Cell service sucks here, Nolan. Imagine something happening to you and not being able to call out for help. This is Wyatt saying this, allegedly. Nolan side eyes and dismisses the comment. Nolan snaps a photo or video of something. Wyatt had been sniffing the cocaine all morning. Wyatt tries to grab the phone or tells him to put it down, and Nolan jerks the phone. This feels what would lead to Nolan's death later. Let's see, approximately 12 hours later, Nolan was already having an inkling that he shouldn't go to the pool party later. Him and Wyatt had animosity for a while, more so Wyatt, because Nolan was, I don't know what that word is, but the next word says back. He forgave easy and didn't hold grudges. He was the peaceful friend, the conflict solver in most of his social group. He had several, maybe 3, and the rest of that part is kind of watered out there. Let's go to the second page right here, and it continues. Nolan was only put on the boat to be transferred back to the island around 3 to 5 a.m. on July 6th.
Wow.
That's why he wasn't found initially on the island. He was stored somewhere cool and dark as to keep decompositioning at a minimum. But it's summer. He already started to have a hint of smell permeating the shaded area. It's an area of property him and his friends hiked or hung around. And yes, it's one of his friends' property. Somebody got to form a hiking trail, maybe both. Somebody cried, Wyatt or Warren. Somebody is scared to speak, Eric. Somebody was, looks like
It was threatening.
there or theatrical. I can't make that out. All of them are being hunted. Nolan decided to unfriend this group, and they couldn't accept it. And this, my friends, as far as this person is concerned, believes this is the ultimate motive.
Ultimate motive. Huh.
Now, I have not been able to.
Look, we see this, and so shout out to Willie D. But I don't know what you would think of the account of this letter that apparently someone is allegedly right surfaced, and all of a sudden now you have this letter and you got the 2 pages, and this individual is claiming that this is what apparently or they think may have led to Nolan Wells being unalived while on this adventure they were on going to Horn Island. So the question is, that's why we need the phone. So whatever Nolan took is the reason as to why they wanted to get that out of the picture. Now, it's also my understanding with going through, and allegedly, I'm going to continue to get some more evidence. But these parents, one of these kids is a high state kid who is who was the star football player. Family is up there. Knows some people. Apparently, and again, allegedly, we all already know that one of the kids' parents, the mother, is a lawyer, and basically some conversation that was had with another individual's grandfather. So it's a lot to take in here. Let's finish watching Willie D and see what he said.
Authenticate this letter. I don't know. It's floating around the internet. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this letter. It's pretty detailed. It sounds plausible. This is not the first time that we heard that Nolan had an issue, or they had an issue about Nolan going to Horn Island. What we heard initially was that Nolan was that the friends, the so-called friends that was on the boat with him, was having some trepidation about him going. They didn't want him to go for whatever reason. There was something about girls, something about, whatever it was. They didn't want him to go. Somehow, some way, he ends up going anyway. But now this letter says that now Nolan is the one who had some trepidation about going with them. But he went anyway. Yeah. Because remember now, Nolan is the peacemaker. There's even a video out there of a fight happening and Nolan stepping in and making peace. He was the peacemaker. So ain't that strange? Well, how ironic that the peacemaker ends up dead out of all of the people. You got all the hotheads. They survive, but the peacemaker ends up dead. So if Nolan indeed was murdered, which I do believe he was, he didn't start it. We know that because by all accounts, Nolan was the peacemaker. Somebody's gonna put this story all the way out. At some point, somebody gotta come forward and collect that reward money. It's $125,000 up right now.
Yes, it is.
I do know that Mississippi is not an ideal place to live for a progressive person. People who, love technology.
That is absolutely so. So, I mean, you heard what Willie D said, right? And we'll finish it up here in just a second. But it's not one of those ideal places, as he said, that you want to go. But when you're looking at that letter, What does that say to you? Does it give you an inkling that could have possibly taken place? Is that something that we want to say is T? I don't know. This is tough. I wanted to play that part. Let's see what else he says. I know he's talking about the reward money for those that, hey, now's the time to start coming clean uh, before it gets to this point. Because if it gets to this point and questions are asked, and they have to say exactly what happened, or name some names of people that were there, or they may have already have a list. We don't know, and we'll find that out pretty soon as well. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's finish Willie D. Oh, Willie D is still circling. You're circling, my guy. You're circling. Hmm.
It's 125,000 up right now. Uh, I do know that Mississippi is not an ideal place to live for a progressive person. People who, love technology and advancement. People who want to get, grow, evolve in life. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Uh, you know, Mississippi is not the place for these type of people. Mississippi is one of those places where most people go, I do believe, so that they can live in the past. They're stuck. And they get to be, kings and queens because they can't compete nowhere else. That's right, I said it. Now, if the shoe don't fit you, don't try to put it on. Don't try to put it on. But if it fit, lace it up. I'm talking about the ones who the shoe fit. They move to Mississippi so they can have that good old boy type of life. So they can go back and revisit the past. That's what that's about. I know you. I studied you. Yeah, I studied it. Mississippi, a lot of the people in Mississippi who are, who work in all these type of industries, who, get money and, they're thriving, they're mediocre. They couldn't make it anywhere else. They can't make it.
Well, I wanted to just play a little bit of that. And so he's gotten into a little bit more of a personal realm. But I did want to talk about that letter, because what say you about this letter, man? That letter can definitely tell a specific story of where everyone was acclaiming that they loved and adored, and they were all best friends and they all got along. When this letter here, and as you can see, things are slowly coming out about the real true friendship of these individuals, and how close they are or they not. It's insane to me that we're sitting here and we're still going through this when all they had to do was just simply tell the truth. Just simply tell the truth. Hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Having a conversation is the easiest thing to do. It is the easiest thing to do, but to preserve potential evidence. Don't delete it. Don't destroy it. Don't alter it. If you are in fact truly innocent, then why is it that we're going through this particular moment? But man, I don't know. That's what it is. The question surrounding July 4th is always something. This is what the case has become. It becomes very, very difficult. Nolan's family and friends have now spoken publicly about their final interactions with him, which makes it easy again for the rest of us in the world to have an account of this young man's personality and the type of person that he was. As you can see, and I told you before early on in this segment that this has been just too easy for them. Uh, this accident is essentially that Noah chose to remain behind and indicated that he had another ride. I don't know. It just doesn't sound that way to me, especially when you know when you go together, you return together. If you leave with five, you return with five. That's simply how that goes. And this young man has followed this all his life. So why in this one moment would he not? The family doesn't believe that that behavior sounds like Nolan at all, where he's saying he'll stay back and get a ride. I don't even understand that. And so where did the ride portion come from? Because it's still there. Some are questions. I want everybody to, in this reaction room, to think about, and I'm saying it preemptive now, so when you come in and you check this out, who was Nolan supposedly getting a ride from? Who was he supposedly getting a ride from? Because in the accounts of all of this, it just said that he was staying back with some girl. So who was he supposed to be getting a ride from? So you see how the story constantly changed? Who was he supposed to be getting a ride from? Has that person been positively identified? Who was it? If you said that he told you he was going to get a ride from somebody, I'm almost certain he would have told you who. Because you brought him there, and you as an individual that brought him there most definitely should have made sure that he gave you an answer of who he's going to be riding back with, because he came with you. And if you know his rule, and the rule that's always been, whoever you leave with, you come back with, then why would this change? What communication supports that particular plan, that particular claim that they said? When was Nolan last seen is the other question. Because no one's coming up and saying that. I think because the family has put themselves in such a healthy way, or that they are very wealthy, there's some things that sometimes people just don't want to get through an answer or go through based on those accounts right there. Who was the final confirmation? Who was that final individual confirmation from their team? The person to see him alive last. That's what we want to know. Because you had a friend say, hey, well, at 3 he said this, but then at 5 he said, I left and he was there. Or did he either leave and go with the girl, or was he with you? The accounts just, they keep digging themselves in the hole with the way that they're answering these questions. What can the cell phone records tell investigators is another big thing. What can the photographs and the video from from gathering intel from this phone tell? Does this tell a true story? And then the authenticity of it all. The family independent autopsy. We're going to talk about the autopsy just real fast so we can get out of here. The family independent autopsy did not provide definitive answers many people was hoping that it would find. It said inconclusive. And the reason it's inconclusive because if you don't have the entire body, every piece of the body, then you can't give an account for that portion. From our understanding, remember, Mississippi autopsy kept Nolan's throat. So you send a body with no throat. That's whew, just thinking about that and picturing it in my mind is so awful. It's the most awful thing in the world that a parent want to hear and know has taken place, but they knew what their child looked like when he was found. They had to, of course, identify the body, so they got to see it already. But did they think that the throat would be gone. So why was the throat gone? And look, y'all, the other question is, was the throat already gone when the body was thrown? It sounded like it was, because he was upside down, that they felt it would be too much for his body to be right side up when they lured him, when they found his body and lured him in. Report indicates that the independent examination did not identify significant traumatic injuries at all. Or to even be able to say that was, any injuries significant to establish a cause of death, because they didn't just have all the pieces of the body. And that cause also remained undetermined pending further investigation. So they know something. The question is, will they ever tell the truth, or are they going to keep this covered up? That means we have to be extremely careful, because if you give any notion, man, it's over. It's over. Let's get Willie D down. Let's get myself back up there on the panel. Just the notion of that is crazy. It means that the available evidence did not allow the examination to conclusively determine how Nolan died. Because you can't, if you say he drowned, then you would need his throat to be able to determine that. And if you take that away and you don't give it to the examiner, and that's the big cause that you say happened to him, then how do you know that? So that's why questions are continuously up in the air. Man, this is crazy. This is crazy. The grand jury is going to be coming up soon. The Jackson County District Attorney previously told Nolan's parents that once the investigation is completed, the findings are expected to be presented to a grand jury. So we're going to definitely have to see what's going on. This case that was so simple to complete and compile, we have now made it world news. It's crazy. And guys, with that being said, that's what I have. I just think that the threats and on social media and stuff like that's happening, I wish that wouldn't happen to the parents. One, injustice for Nolan does not mean threatening people. It doesn't mean threatening people. That's against the law to do that. We can demand answers. We can demand transparency. We can demand we can demand all those things, and we could definitely be scrutinized inconsistently. But at the same time, the fact still remains that this is something that we need. But social media speculations cannot become a substitute for evidence, and we are by far not trying to make it that way. We got to hear the recording, how it was distorted, and how individuals have now come up and kind of distorted the sound to give a full-fledged account of what is actually on that recording as well. The phone calls that was made. It is tough. It is tough. It is absolutely tough. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much. Those that are going to watch this on playback, I appreciate you for coming, listening. Also, do me a favor, hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that notification, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop. Reaction Room is here. This case is not finalized, and so we are going to watch it until it is absolutely finalized. And I know there's some people that don't want to watch this because it's so heartbreaking, and it definitely breaks your heart and makes you want to fall down and cry as though as if it's your own child. Because at the end of the day, it is your child. We're all God's children. We're all siblings. We have that bond that in our community, when a child does something and they're not yours, you take care of it, right? And then you tell the parents. And then the parents will either get the child some more or put the child on punishment or vice versa. Do whatever it is that they need to do in that hash. And an 18-year-old young man went to Horns Island on the 4th of July, expecting to come home. He never did. He absolutely never did. His family deserves the facts. They deserve answers from start to finish, from his phone to everything that he do. Is absolutely where we are with this. Now, with that being said, guys, I want to appreciate you guys one last time for coming in. Again, hit the like button. If you like this, also leave a comment, because I do respond to the comments. If it gets to be where it's a bunch of comments and I can only answer so many at a time, eventually I will get to you. But I definitely want you guys to take into account and understand this. So I do have this. I'm going to take down my old outro, because my old outro is for my other show and I don't want to mix the two. We are just going to add the ending as such and say thank you for coming. This is important. Thank you, guys. And I cannot say this enough. Hit the like button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let them know that this channel is here. Toni's Reaction Room is here. And I wanted to get my first video in and out so that way you guys get to absolutely enjoy it. I'm going to also say this. Thank you all so much for coming. And I am going to get my intro and outro sound for you guys. But we're going to head out with this sound as we end this show. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you once again for coming in. Again, hit the like button. This is going to be a really nice, cool reaction channel. This is the reaction channel. We're going to react to reactions on all things. Right now, we're going to follow this Nolan Wells case. And look here, man. Make no mistake. We'll get to the truth. The parents deserve justice. They deserve the truth about their child. They deserve to live in peace thereafter, which we will never have peace. If you lose a child, it rips your heart out. It absolutely rips your heart out. And it's definitely hard to give it any other energy other than what the parents are giving it right now. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much. I am out.